my fellow readers slash travelers. Oh, hold on, this is too far. It's better. Okay. Hi guys! This is my second episode of Studying Abroad. It's getting a lot better. So this past week, I've gone to two places. One was in Florence, but the other one was kind of like out of Florence. Me and my friend Chandler, I'm making friends. We went to the Plaza Petite. We were debating about going to like the museum or through the gardens. From last week's episode, how I really miss grass, we decided to go into the gardens. Oh, finally, nature. This past Sunday, January 14th, we went to this is the wrong paper, was to a couple of villas. For me, when I hear villa, I just think like small villages and like their history or whatever. But no, villas here are more like mansions that have a lot of acres. And we also went to the location where Leonardo da Vinci was said to have been like born, but not exactly like raised. I guess he only lived there for maybe like age 1 or like 1 to 2. Like the house, you know, is not big whatsoever. It's like this tiny. I mean, there's literally like 3 rooms. So there were 2 things I didn't know about Leonardo da Vinci. One being that da Vinci is not his last name. It is the city where he was born. A lot of like the families had like the last name of like the city where they were born. So like that's why we know him as Leonardo da Vinci, but he's like Leonardo of Vinci. Like that's where we went. We went to Vinci. The second thing I did not know about Leonardo was he was really into technology. So there were like some things that he had like constructed and he like sketched out. He attempted flying, which was pretty cool. Our like tour guide teacher person was like, yeah, no one really used it because, you know, like that'd be really hard. Because it's literally like you have to attach your arms to the wings and then you have to like flap like yourself. So you're basically a bird. If you don't know this quite just yet, I love old-fashioned stuff. All of Europe is really old, clearly. Italy is known for Renaissance. You know, Europe is more or less known for Victorian era or Edwardian era. So it's like all those like old-fashioned like interior design and like architecture and fashion is just like really cool to me. It's just like just seeing all those details and meeting like you craftsmen. One of the villas we went through had colored rooms, so it was like this was the yellow room, this was the blue room, this was the teal room, this was the red room, and there was like the teal room that came up and it was a bedroom. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty. Like it's not just like solid colors of just like that one shade of like blue or something. It's like a pattern, and that pattern is everywhere, like on the cushions, on the curtains, on the sheets. Thankfully the teal room, it had like a really cool like wallpaper design, and it was like on the cushions of like a dresser and stuff, but on the bed it was a 4-post bed. I love 4-post bed. Really, they just scream princess. It was really nice because the 4-post bed was just like the sheets were just like the solid teal, and I was like, oh, that's so pretty. I need it. There was this other villa that we went into that had foyer, whatever you want to call it, and then we like walked into this room, and then it was called the billiard room, and I was just like, oh cool, like, you know, like that's where you play pool, and like I know that from like games and like just like reading. The room right next door was like a theater, and I was like, this house like walking from like the foyer to the billiard to the theater room, I was just like, we could play Clue in this house. We could just all dress up as the characters and just go and play Clue. Like playing the real live Clue game, I just think would be so much fun, and I think that's what I wanted to do in that villa. If anyone's watched Princess Diaries 2, you'll know what I'm talking about with like the hedge mazes. If you don't know Princess Diaries 2, you need to watch it because it's amazing. A lot of the villas had like the short height of like the hedge mazes, and I really just like wanted to run through them, just like in any movie when you just have the really big dress and you're like running through it and you're like having fun and playing and stuff. When we were walking to like this one section of the garden, and we were walking by all the hedges, and there was an opening, and I was just like, I've got to go through that. So I just like went off the path and like went through the hedge. It was like not that big and not that long, but I was just like, I've got to walk. I've got to say, I walked through a hedge like a princess. I think I kind of had an enlightenment when it comes to studying a language. Studying a language, you have to think like, okay, I know English and like that's all I know. Now I'm trying to learn Italian. When you're learning a different language, it's like 10 times more confusing. Like no matter what kind of language it is. Apparently English is really, really hard to understand. But like learning any language, having already known a language is like really hard, because when you're learning that language, you're like immediately trying to translate it into like the language you already know. And so it's like you're doing that, but you're also trying to then translate what you know as it back into that language. Is that even making any sense? You're just, I don't know. You're translating, and then you have to figure out how to translate it back. I mean, like you're learning 2 sets of vocabulary. I mean, it's like you already like know one vocabulary, but you have to like, I mean, you're clearly learning another vocabulary, like a whole other dictionary of words, and you have to be able to translate all those words back into your language, but then you have to know that word to translate it back in so you can actually like communicate with people. So that's it for this week. There's nothing really else to say. I think next trip is Pisa. I know this is only like the 2nd episode of these study abroad vlogs, but if you're enjoying them, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not. But that's it. Never let any good book go unread, and I need like a slogan for traveling. Go everywhere. I don't know. But that's it. See you guys next week. Bye.